everyone, my name is Steve. Welcome back to Grandpa Does AI. In my last video, I tested 4 AI video generators head to head, but Gemini Omni wasn't available then. Now it is. So in this video, I will run the same tests, the same 5 prompts, twice for each model, the same scoring system, the same graphics, no shortcuts. I want to see if Gemini Omni Flash can dethrone Seedance 2. Scoring is based on consistency as well as overall quality and prompt adherence. And whichever model wins a given prompt after both runs will get 1 point. If there's a tie, they'll each get a point. I'll present the score tallies at the end after all videos have been shown. One difference between this test and the test in my previous video is that these will be 10-second video clips because that's all Gemini Omni can do, and they will be in 1080p. Let's get started because the results really surprised me. Here's prompt 1, a cinematic car drift, rain, neon lights, low angle camera, high motion, lots of physics, exactly the kind of thing that separates the good AI video tools from the great ones. We'll let the challenger, Gemini Omni, go first. That was a very interesting result. It looks like both models missed on their first run, and in their second run, they did much better. That's why I run the prompts through each model twice so we can see the variations. Let's keep going. Prompt number 2 is up next, and it steps up the difficulty. This one asks for 2 shots with a seamless cut between them, a dolly zoom on the face, and some vertigo action, then a tracking shot down a dark alleyway. Scene transitions inside a single AI clip are notoriously difficult, so let's see how they do. We're starting with Gemini Omni. Both models performed well in this, although I will say that the style of the film or the video was supposed to be noir, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but typically that's black and white. And the only model that started in black and white was Seedance. So they both nailed what the intention of the prompt was, although there wasn't a whole lot of vertigo movement in the Gemini Omni models in either run, but they definitely showed up in the Seedance too. So again, write down your score and we'll compare at the end. Time for prompt number 3, and this one's very interesting because we get 2 characters that are having a conversation, so we get to see how the models handle lip syncing. We also get to see the consistency as the models pan between the characters, and the conversation isn't scripted, so we also get to see how creative the models are themselves because they're going to have to come up with the conversation. So let's see how it goes. Gemini Omni up first.
I know exactly what you did.
You have to believe me, it was not my fault.
I just don't see how this is going to work for us.
We have to make it work. There is no other choice.
I think you should leave town.
I can't. My mom's sick. I can't leave her now.
I told you, it was a long time ago. I was a kid.
I know. And I'm sorry.
Both models handled the character creation, the setting, and the lip syncing flawlessly. The only glitch I saw was Gemini Omni added a third character, which would have been sitting in a wall. from the start. But other than that, they did a fantastic job. And once again, that's another reason I run each prompt twice so we can see how consistent they are. If you're finding this useful, a like on this video genuinely helps other people who are trying to figure out these same tools find it. If you're new here, this is what I do. I try the new AI tools, I show you what actually happens, and we figure it out together. I hope you'll subscribe. Let's move on. Prompt number 4. Prompt number 4 introduces Amy, which is a character that is saved in OpenArt. Now, obviously, to use her for Gemini Omni, I had to recreate her in Google Flow, so there's going to be a little variance in the characters. The ask is to keep her face, clothing, and her realistic look exactly the same while she's sprinting at full speed through a packed neon market with the camera tracking backward ahead of her. This is a character consistency test under maximum motion stress. The only issue is that the character models are not the same source, so there will be some variance. This is the image I used to create the Amy model inside of Google Flow, and this is the image that is produced by the character model for Amy that exists in OpenArt. All right, let's get to prompt number 4. I think this prompt was a big differentiator between the models. I don't think that the Gemini Omni model recreated the Amy character as accurately as Seedance did, and the sound was particularly off, meaning that the footsteps that was being generated didn't match her run motion. I also thought the run motion looked better on the Seedance model as well. So, yeah, this one was a bit of a shocker to me. Prompt 5 is a complete change of pace. No action, no characters, no camera moves, just an extreme macro close-up of the latte art being poured, microfoam bubbles, steam wisps, fluid physics, at the surface level, pure texture. This is where we find out which tool handles the stillness and the detail better than the motion, and it also shows how it handles volume dynamics. All right, so now we get to the best part of the video. We get to score how the models did on all the prompts. So on the car drift prompt, I'm going to award that one to Gemini Omni Flash. It did make a mistake on the first run of the prompt, but so did Seedance 2. In the second run, it was flawless. Seedance 2 also did well, but I'm going to give the overall nod to Gemini Omni Flash on this one. For the detective, I have to give the nod to Seedance 2 because it followed the prompt better with the vertigo and also with the art style or the film style being more black and white. So they both followed the prompt well in terms of execution, but Seedance 2 followed the prompt more precisely. The diner dialogue prompt really stood out because both models handled it well. The lip syncing was flawless by both models, and that's usually where models stumble. The only reason I'm going to give a point to Seedance 2 on this one is because Gemini Omni introduced that person that would have literally been sitting in the wall on one of the runs. But other than that, they were very close. For the fourth prompt, Amy running, I also have to give the point to Seedance 2 just because the run sequence and the representation of the prompt and the whole environment looked better on the Seedance 2 model. Gemini Omni Flash didn't do a horrible job, although I didn't think the running looked particularly great. What really threw me off on the Gemini model was the footstep sound. it was just off. It didn't match the motion. For the final prompt, the coffee art, I have to give the point to Gemini Omni. It handled the art and the volume quite well, although I think it created the art a little early in the pouring. Seedance did a good job in the first run where it handled the volume and everything well, but it didn't really produce any art. And then in the second one where the art was good, it looked like the volume was off. The cup would have overflowed. So I got to give the point to Gemini Omni on this one. So in the final tally, based on the way I scored it, Seedance takes the win 3-2. I would love to know how the viewers scored it. If you disagree with me, I'd love you to post your scoring in the comments because this is very subjective and this was very close. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I generated all of the videos for Gemini Omni Flash with my Gemini Pro account using Google Flow, and I used about 30% of my monthly credits to generate this. So it appears that the model is fairly expensive to use, but you can't go wrong using either one of these models. They're both great. I was surprised that Gemini Omni can only produce 10-second clips. I really expected them to improve upon that. And also, I was surprised that the resolution is 720p until you go to download, and then you can upscale to 1080. But that will improve. They just announced the models. They just released them, and I'm sure they're going to make changes rapidly. I produced the Seedance 2 videos in OpenArt, and I have a detailed cost breakdown in my previous video on the comparison, so there'll be a link to go look at that if you want. I hope you found this video useful, and I hope to see you around for the next one.